this September. Bad blood will be settled.
This is more than personal.
The long-awaited trilogy.
There's real bad blood here.
Canelo versus Triple G. September 17th, live on DAZN pay-per-view. Visit DAZN.com.
This is Matt for Into Boxing. Delighted to be joined by world champion Ebanie Bridges. Now all that noise is cleared off, we can finally crack on with this interview. You're here, weighing day, your favourite day of fight week, absolutely. Canelo, Triple G. A little bit sad that it's not you?
Yeah, I am a little bit sad. You know, obviously I've been in camp prepping for a fight. You know, we were aiming actually for next week to fight. So it wasn't up until Tuesday night that I was still in camp dieting and everything, getting ready to hopefully have a fight announced for next week. But we got our purse bids. We won the purse bid, and it kind of changed the scenery a little bit.
You look in shape. You've obviously had a discipline last sort of 10, 12 weeks. How has things been going? How have you been ticking over? Has it been hard sort of waiting, wondering what's going on whilst maintaining a strict diet? Because there's nothing worse than knowing you have to keep yourself at a certain weight when you don't know what's happening.
Yeah, definitely. Look, I've got a lot of discipline. So no matter what, I'm training and I'm dieting right. But it is a little bit harder, when you don't have the date locked in, you don't have an opponent locked in. We had ideas. The only difference is the battle you go through in your head. Fighters would know this, but it's kind of like when you got a fight and an opponent locked in, when you're dieting, if you have those thoughts, which everyone has, oh, I just feel like chocolate, or I just feel like an eating, or I don't really feel like going for that run, you know what I mean? Yeah. You just go, you don't really think like that, you just go, I've got to fight this person, and that's it, I've got to do it. But when you don't really have a fight, or you don't really know who you're fighting, it's all up in the air, it's kind of like you have this constant battle, like, do I really have to go for a run? Can I actually eat that chocolate? You know, like I still don't, and I still do everything right, but it's just that battle which is a little bit draining, so you're fighting with yourself a little bit more, which becomes a little bit more draining. Whereas when you got it all locked in, it's like, there's not even that thought, it's got to be done. So yeah, anyways, all good, everything happens for a reason. You know, I'm missing out on a payday. It was going to be a really great fight, actually, who I was going to fight.
Can you disclose?
I'm not going to disclose it. I'll talk to Eddie, but maybe for a later interview I'll tell you who I was going to fight. But it would have been great. But to be fair, that fight I think needed a bigger build-up than 10 days. I do think that would have been a good fight to build for, a proper build fight. So in a way, it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, it might have worked out for the best if it makes it bigger as well. So
look, everything happens for a reason, and I still think I'm going to have that fight because I think it's a great fight for the fans, and I think it's a great fight for women's boxing, to be fair, and it's an exciting fight for me. But hey, we got this other one in the way now, which that's all she is, mate. She's just in the way. She's always been in the way. She's been annoying me for the last,
Yeah, coming on to Shannon O'Connell, obviously mandatory, the purse bid situation's been dealt with, it's been won. She hasn't had the nicest of things to say about you. Now, I don't know if there's been any personal issues, beef, because that's normally where lots of this stems from, but it seems like, there's been a lot of talking over the past year. Now this fight's been done and signed. I'm not sure, I've not heard as much. Can you tell me what's going on?
I can't tell what's going on. I don't know. Maybe she's shitting herself because it's reality now. I mean, that's what people do. They talk a lot of shit. Talk. I don't talk anything because there was no fight locked in for me. Yeah. So I'm not going to sit there and talk shit, about a fight that's nothing's locked in. Like, I like to start talking when I know things are for real. I'm not going to give someone exposure or attention, especially someone who just drags my name through the dirt and just talks absolute rubbish about me constantly. I'm not going to give anything until I know that there's a fight to be made and money to be made from it. Otherwise, it's just free exposure for someone, isn't it, on my platform? So yeah, I know the fight's been not announced of what the time and date is, but it's been announced that we're fighting. So yeah, now I'll have my say, and I don't know, she's gone into hiding a little bit and a bit quiet. Maybe she needs to go deal, maybe she's going through a little bit of anxiety, realising, oh shit, I'm going to fight Ebanie, and guess what, it's not going to be on my promotion, in my card, it's going to be on the champion's terms, and I think maybe that's a little bit worrying. So, whatever. She said all her shit for a year, and I banked all that, but I have no real beef with her, to be fair. I mean, she's a great fighter. She's been in it for 13 years. I know not many people really know who she is, but she has been around and she's done certain things. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be very different when she jumps in the ring with Blonde Bomber.
Talk to me about not her as a person, because obviously she said some things that just won't sit well with you anyway. So,
People don't know shit.
but as a fighter, what do you make of her skills? Because obviously you're a world champion, you come into this, a lot of people doubted you at the start, obviously with how your personality was, how you promote the fights, but you're business savvy, you know what you're doing and you bring eyes to the sport, but you are now a legitimate world champion and you beat the longest reigning champion in that division at the time, in that weight class. But what does she bring into this fight, like skill-wise?
Yeah, look, she has a lot of experience. I think she's had over 30 fights. Like I said, she's been boxing for over 12 years. Or something like this. Yeah. I know a lot of people are like, you're fighting a nobody, and I mean, she isn't known really. I mean, she's known now because she's connected to me, but she's kind of known in Australian boxing, and she's had some fights, and you got to give her the experience, but she hasn't really had experience against class fighters. A lot of her fighters, especially recently, that she's beating are non-experienced fighters, novice fighters. You can tell by the, if you look at her box rec and stuff. So I think she has a little bit of a false confidence, and I think she's underestimating me a little bit.
Do you think this is a jealousy thing to see what you've done and because Australian boxing, you know as well as anyone how hard it is to make the grain over there, and it's not seen as, they don't really get much of a push in comparison to over here, and that's why you moved your life over here. Any jealousy on her part, do you think?
Of course she's jealous. She's jealous and she's bitter, and I mean, I don't know, I'm going to say I can't blame her, but like I've only been boxing for 3 years, like really as a pro, and she's been boxing for 13, and she's known now because of, she's my mandatory. I mean, I suppose she's probably a little bit jealous and whatever, but it doesn't really matter because in the end all that matter is in that ring, and I know I have the skills to beat her. I've just beat Roman, who's also well experienced, 15 years as a pro, had a lot of fights. Experience isn't everything. Yeah, it helps a little bit, but it's not everything, and I've proved that, and I can continue to prove that. And I look forward to, bringing her over here and giving her a taste of what it's like to fight in the UK and in front of my fans and experience that, because she definitely hasn't experienced that before, and I love it. For me, it fuels me, but I don't know how she's going to handle that.
You just mentioned in front of your fans now. A lot of your fans, although you've got them everywhere, let's be honest. Even over here, it's been batshit crazy since you walked in. But
I love the Mexicans. I love it.
Talk to me about where the fight could potentially be staged. Obviously, we know you normally go on a Josh Warrington bill. He's obviously got the huge Leeds fan base, born and bred there, but you've obviously got that cult following as well a little bit. Is it going to be Leeds, something like that, do you think?
Look, I'm not 100% sure, to be honest, like I love fighting in Leeds, but I have fans all around the UK, as you know, and I think if I fight in London, it's going to be just as big, and I'm still going to fill it out. So it doesn't really matter where I fight, but it will be here, it'll be in the UK, because this is my home now. This is where I relocated. My camp's here, everything's here for me, my sponsors. So, when I fight, this is where it is. I'm the champion, they're trying to get me over there and trying to treat me like a B-side. Like, come on, guys. Like, I mean, it's a little bit disrespectful, a little bit embarrassing as well. They really thought they could win that purse bid, which I thought was quite funny, especially because I know the scene in Australian boxing, So I was confident we're going to get the fight here. And I think maybe one of the reasons that we've gone a little bit quiet is because they really, I don't know, somehow thought that they could beat us and Eddie in a women's boxing fight. I know what the girls go over. Then there's a reason I'm here, So I think Seta's coming to terms with that a little bit. Look, it's going to be a great fight. She's just in my way, to be fair. She's once I get it out of the way, then I can continue on with my plans, which was to become unified and undisputed. And I have absolutely no doubt that that's going to be the case.
Surely it's better for her fighting over here anyway, because like women's boxing, I mean, it'd be great her winning a purse bid in Australia, home comforts, but ultimately this is where the dough is, and this is where the women's boxing is going.
She's getting the biggest paycheck of her career. She's probably getting paid all her paychecks over the last 12 years in one go. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? To be fair, like that's what women's boxing's like over there. Like, I mean, so not just that. Yeah, well, look, we could have fought in Australia. Everyone's saying it's two Aussies, it needs to be in Australia, but not really, because we want to see Australian boxing. And if it was in Australia, it would be on a no limit card, which they have on, as you know, Wednesday nights. Everyone's sleeping around the world. Who is going to watch that? Okay, yeah, I'll have fans who want to watch it for me, but it's not going to be a global thing. We're on Matchroom. This is a global platform with DAZN. Okay.
I mean, look at this event.
Exactly, it's global. So because of who I am and what Eddie's doing, getting her to fight two Aussies, just because it's not in Australia doesn't mean it's not big for Australian boxing, because now the world is going to see two Australian women fight. Two of the best in Australia. Even though she thinks that I'm shit on a bum, you know, good on her. But I do think we're good. We are the best in Australia,
Yeah.
and the world is going to see that. It wouldn't have happened if it was in Australia. It would have just been like standard. No one sees the Australians box. Like a couple of people that are really diehard that get up in the middle of the night to watch the Australian boxing, but it wouldn't have happened. You know, so this is a great opportunity for Australian boxing, for the women in Australia, for us, for Shannon. You know what I mean? Shani 2-0. You know, like. I mean, she's even using the same script from 2020 and 2021, talking about my lingerie and my looks and my boobs, and oh god, I thought we've been over that.
Sound familiar, doesn't it?
So look, it feels like she's running the same script. I'm like, wait, are we on Groundhog Day? But honestly, I don't mind, but I think it's a great thing. I think it's great for Australian boxing, and I think the Australians and she should be getting behind it because it's great.
Who do you dislike the most? Courtney or O'Connell?
Shani Courtney. I would wine and dine Shannon before I would give really any Shannon O'Connell a second chance.
Wow, that says a hell of a lot because I know that where that's different. So this is
That's
dead
huge.
serious.
Yeah, I'm dead serious.
Holy shit.
Guys, you haven't actually heard much of O'Connell because I don't give her the time of the day.
Yeah.
But once you see her and you listen to her, I mean, unless she changes her tune because she realizes she's going to get absolutely destroyed over here with her attitude. But yeah, her attitude is a lot worse than Shannon Courtney. Shannon Courtney, like I said, I'd even buy her a gift, maybe some candles, you know, take her out for dinner, than anything.
That's a great piece of content.
Well, it's true. No, it's true because I just really think that Shannon O'Connell is a bit of a horrible human, and she's just so nasty. She's nasty. She's been dragging my name through the dirt pretty much since I turned pro, and telling me she wouldn't even use me for sparring. I'm shit. I'm a bum. All these horrible things. And now she's begging me, knocking and begging for a fight, you know, because she knows she's going to get a payday, because she's got the biggest payday of her life, of her career. She can say it's because I got the title, but Roman had the title. All the other girls had the title, but she wasn't chasing them, you know. So we'll see. And there's no real beef here for me, but I just mean as a human, as a person, if I would rather take my mate Shani out than this other one. So I don't know. Let's see. We'll see. You'll see. Who knows? She might get humbled a little bit and then change, but we'll see.
Before we get on to Canelo Triple G and a prediction for that, have you got a message for O'Connell?
Not really, you know. I look forward to her explaining to everyone how she got beat by a lingerie model that just strips her clothes off to get a world title. I'm looking forward to what her excuses will be. But yeah, other than that, you know, welcome to my home.
Right, moving on. Canelo Triple G.
Yeah.
Brilliant fight. I think it's going to be good now as well, especially because Triple G doesn't have that extra weight to cut off.
Yeah.
He looks unbelievable on the scales. What do you make of this fight? It's a brilliant matchup.
Yeah, look, you know, it's crazy because the whole lead up to this fight, I was like, oh, Canelo's going to smash him. Like, Triple G's not a big middleweight. Like, he's not a small middleweight, but he's just an average size middleweight. Do you know what I mean? Like, he was not really like a middleweight that had to cut a lot. He wasn't really like, you know what I mean? And he just he's looked all right in his last fights, but not like a Canelo. Canelo went right up, got smashed, just out boxed and class by Bivol, but remember, he went up so much for that.
And
so
Bivol's a great fighter.
He's a great fighter. You can't take anything away from him, and he's just so strong, he's big. This is more a natural weight for Canelo, to be fair. It's the first time Triple G is going up to super middle, but looking at him today and how he's been, he just looks confident, he looks healthy. Yeah. So I think it's going to be a lot tougher fight than I originally expected.
Yeah.
I still think Canelo wins it.
Yeah.
But I think it goes to points.
Yeah.
Because unless Canelo drops him with the body, because we know Triple G has shown a bit of a weaker midsection of late, you know.
Maybe, but neither of these two get hurt normally, do they?
Definitely not to the head. They both got granite chins. So,
You're going for Canelo?
I'm going for Canelo. But I did think Triple G won the first fight. I kind of, somewhere in my heart, wants Triple G to win, you know, just I think because of the first fight he did get right. I would like to see Triple G win, and nothing like a good upset in boxing, is it?
Yeah.
But let's see. It's going to be fireworks. It's going to be extremely exciting, and I can't wait. Today was huge. The weigh-ins was huge. It's all going to be huge.
Ebanie Bridges, thanks for talking to Into Boxing, giving us some of your time again, and we'll catch up soon.
Always. Thank you. Always a pleasure.